Dick Knight Train Lane wasn't just a ball hawk. He was a straight-up menace. Back in 1952, he snagged 14 interceptions in a single season, a record that still stands today. But here's the thing. Night Train didn't just intercept passes. He tackled guys by grabbing their face masks and yanking them to the ground like he was opening a really stubborn jar. At the time, face masks were brand new, and the league hadn't figured out that maybe, just maybe, letting defenders yank people's heads sideways wasn't the best idea. By the late 1950s, the NFL finally introduced the face mask penalty. So the next time you see a 15-yard flag for a face mask grab, you can thank Night Train Lane for making officials realize that necks aren't supposed to twist like that. But if you think grabbing face masks was brutal, wait until you hear what this next defensive legend did to offensive linemen. Deacon Jones revolutionized pass rushing in the 60s and 70s, but his signature move was absolutely diabolical. He called it the head slap, and it was exactly what it sounds like. A full force smack across an offensive lineman's helmet at the snap. Linemen would see stars, lose their balance, and basically forget what planet they were on. Jones even bragged about making guys hear bells for the rest of the game. It worked so well that by 1977, the NFL said, "Yeah, we're done with this," and banned the head slap outright. It became one of the first rules focused on protecting offensive linemen and preventing brain injuries. Deacon Jones didn't just coin the term sack, he literally slapped his way into the rulebook. Now let's jump from brutal defense to absolute offensive chaos, courtesy of a fullback who didn't care about your 5-yard rules. Bronko Nagurski was a human battering ram for the Chicago Bears in the 1930s. And during the 1932 playoff game, he pulled off something that left everyone scratching their heads. He threw a touchdown pass after clearly running forward past the line of scrimmage. Officials counted it anyway, which sparked immediate outrage. Back then, quarterbacks had to be 5 yards behind the line to throw a forward pass. After that game, the NFL realized how ridiculous that rule was and changed it in 1933, allowing forward passes from anywhere behind the line of scrimmage. So basically, every pass you see today exists because Bronko Nagurski said, "Rules? What rules?" Speaking of creative plays that forced the league to act, let's talk about one of the sneakiest moments in football history. The Holy Roller play in 1978 was less of a football play and more of a legal heist. Raiders quarterback Ken Stabler fumbled the ball forward while being sacked. Totally accidentally, of course. 2 teammates then batted it forward, and Dave Casper fell on it in the end zone for the win. It looked fishy, it smelled fishy, and the NFL agreed it was fishy. After that game, they instituted the Holy Roller rule, which states that only the player who fumbled the ball can recover or advance it on 4th down, or in the final 2 minutes. Stabler pulled off the ultimate hustle, and the league made sure it could never happen again. But not all rule changes come from chaos. Some come from pure, unstoppable dominance. Mel Blount was a 6'3", 205-pound cornerback who played like a linebacker. In the 1970s, he didn't just jam receivers at the line, he mauled them all the way down the field. By 1978, the NFL had seen enough and introduced the Mel Blount rule, banning defenders from making contact with receivers more than 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. This rule completely transformed football, opening up the passing game and ushering in the modern offensive era. Blount himself still thrived after the change, but his dominance forced the league to admit that defenses had tilted the scales too far. And if you think that's the only time physical defense got out of hand, just wait. Ty Law and the Patriots secondary turned the 2003 AFC Championship game into a wrestling match. They clutched, bumped, and rerouted Colts receivers so aggressively that Peyton Manning looked completely lost. The Colts complained loudly, and in 2004, the NFL cracked down on illegal contact, telling officials to strictly enforce the 5-yard rule. Fans called it the Ty Law rule, and it marked the beginning of an era where offense became king. Physical defense was officially on notice. Now let's switch gears to a tackle so dangerous it got banned almost immediately. Roy Williams was a heat-seeking missile for the Cowboys, but his signature move was the horse collar tackle, grabbing the back of a player's shoulder pads and yanking them straight down. It was fast, effective, and absolutely devastating. After multiple high-profile injuries, including Terrell Owens, the NFL banned the horse collar tackle in 2005. Today, it draws an immediate flag, and Roy Williams' legacy is forever tied to the move that was just too dangerous to exist. But while some rules protect players from injury, others protect the integrity of the game itself. Tom Brady's career is full of legendary moments, but one stands out for changing the rulebook forever. In the 2002 AFC divisional round, Brady appeared to fumble the ball in the snow against the Raiders, but officials ruled it an incomplete pass under the tuck rule. If a quarterback's arm was moving forward in a passing motion, it wasn't a fumble. The Patriots won that game, went on to win the Super Bowl, and the controversy raged for over a decade until the NFL finally scrapped the tuck rule in 2013. But Brady's impact didn't stop there. His ACL tear in 2008 led to even stricter rules protecting quarterbacks from low hits. Brady didn't just bend the rules, his career literally rewrote them. And speaking of quarterbacks who manipulated the game, let's talk about the ultimate trickster. Dan Marino's fake spike in 1994 is one of the smartest plays ever. Late in a comeback against the Jets, Marino motioned like he was going to spike the ball to stop the clock, then pulled back and threw a touchdown to Mark Ingram. The Jets were stunned, and defensive coordinators everywhere lost their minds. The NFL quickly clarified the rules, requiring spikes to be immediate and obvious with no fake motions allowed. Marino's genius closed the loophole, but the legend of the fake spike lives on forever. Now, some rule changes happen because of sheer physical dominance that officials can't ignore. Cam Newton entered the league in 2011 as a 6'5", 250-pound tank who ran over linebackers like a power back. But here's the problem: referees didn't protect him the same way they did smaller quarterbacks. Newton took countless helmet-to-helmet shots and low hits that went uncalled. His physical style forced the NFL to clarify protections, ensuring quarterbacks couldn't be treated like open targets just because they scrambled. The league also addressed how defenders should handle quarterbacks diving headfirst. Newton's career proved that size and style could actually cost a player protection, forcing the NFL to make things consistent for all quarterbacks. But not every rule change is about violence. Some are about pure confusion. Calvin Johnson's non-catch in 2010 sparked one of the most frustrating debates in NFL history. He made what looked like the game-winning touchdown against the Bears, but officials ruled it incomplete because the ball shifted slightly when it hit the ground as he stood up. The Calvin Johnson rule was born, requiring receivers to maintain control through the ground. For years, confusion plagued the league until the NFL finally simplified the catch rule. Johnson's name will always be tied to the moment that made everyone realize how overcomplicated football had become. And sometimes, rules change because of celebrations that get a little too wild. Jimmy Graham loved dunking the ball over the goalpost after touchdowns, until he slammed it so hard in 2013 that he tilted the crossbar and delayed the game. The NFL banned the practice immediately, ruling that using the ball as a prop in a way that affects field equipment would result in a penalty. The Jimmy Graham rule killed the dream of tight ends thinking they were LeBron, but it kept the goalpost standing. Aaron Rodgers perfected drawing defenders offside with his cadence, earning free plays where he'd launch deep bombs knowing penalties could be declined. Defenses grew furious, and the NFL tightened enforcement, requiring defenders to actually cross into the neutral zone and disrupt the play for a flag. They also clarified what counted as simulating the snap to prevent abuse. Rodgers still makes it work, but his skill pushed the rulebook to adapt. His legacy isn't just pinpoint throws, it's the countless times he turned defensive aggression into his own weapon. Hey guys, make sure to click on this video on the screen to watch my other videos.